We are kicking off Speed Readings 2.0 on August 8th, and if you'd like to view all 4 sessions, August 8th, 14th, 17th, or 20th, you can now get the all-access live viewing pass on funastrology.com. This time, we're opening the door to all 4 sessions, but live only. I learned so much from Robert last time, and I know you will too. So if you'd like to get links to all 4 sessions, it's only $19.97. That is an incredible bargain. Go to funastrology.com to get yours now. You heard about little Johnny asking the teacher, what's this about Mercury being in Gatorade? It's in Gatorade. Been in there for a couple hours now. It moved in at 12:56 a.m. Eastern this morning, or for a lot of you last night while you were maybe going to bed or sleeping, Mercury went into Gatorade. And before we go a little deeper into Mercury, let's check in with Kristen. And can we have a Lucky Stars day during Mercury retrograde? Well, we talked about it in the video for this month, but the obvious answer is yes, you can.
Hi, Thomas. I hope you all had a great Lucky Stars weekend. I can't wait to hear how everyone is using the astrology. We have another great week this week. I have Wednesday specifically tagged as a Lucky Stars day. If you want to find out why or what future Lucky Stars days are, join the Lucky Stars Club. Thomas and I can't wait to see you there.
Thanks, Kristen. Date noted in the calendar for making up some of the ground I lost to the market last week. Now, back to Mercury retrograde periods. A lot of people ask, well, if you have Mercury in retrograde in your natal chart, are you less prone to the transiting Mercury retrograde effects? I think the pattern is yes. Those of you who have Mercury in retrograde in your natal chart might be nodding your head. Yeah, it seems like I get off easy compared to what I hear around me. Remember, Mercury retrograde is actually an optical illusion. There are no planets going backward in the sky. If you're in our Facebook group, I put a video in over the weekend that explains retrograde motion fairly well. For Mercury and Venus, the 2 planets that are between Earth and Sun, the motion is different than it is for the outer planets that are all moving slower than we are. For Mercury, which takes 88 days to go around the Sun, it's an overlap when Mercury is moving faster than the Earth and it crosses between the Earth and the Sun's position. This time you will not see Mercury in front of the Sun. In fact, that's not going to happen until the 2030s. So, that's not going to happen anytime soon. But Mercury is at 6 degrees 22 minutes north today, and the Sun is at 16 degrees 41 minutes. Basically fully 10 degrees apart, and that's too much for Mercury to be seen in front of the Sun. But position-wise, it is crossing between us and the Sun, and when it does, I just like to think of it as an over-exaggerated sunspot on steroids. Now, obviously, it doesn't create emissions and that kind of thing, but it just seems to me that there's this, when that connection between Earth and Sun is interrupted a little bit for these 3 weeks, it does cause some kind of chaos here on Earth. So there is some kind of disruption or maybe block of that particular wave of energy coming to the Earth. I don't know. It's just a speculation, but it does kind of explain things. You think about, why does that planet in that position cause that effect? Why don't we get the same thing when Venus goes retrograde? But we know in astrology, as above, so below, and Mercury reflects things like our communications, and then for some reason it's the lower octave of the higher octave Uranus, and that's technology. So that's why those 2 areas are affected. So what do we do? How do we handle it? Well, one of the things is check your emails and check your spam box for the next 3 weeks. If you're Ray Merriman and you're trading the markets, you say be careful. He talked about it over the weekend on Saturday's episode, The Trickster. I have a technique that a floor trader from Chicago taught me where you take the daily aspects and you can literally find little scalp, very short-term moves in the S&P 500 futures, or I use it on the NASDAQ as well. And you can actually scalp based on the daily aspects in the sky. It is that sensitive. It's incredible. And it doesn't matter what the aspect is. It bumps the market a little bit. Well, Mercury bumps the market when it's in retrograde. So if it's bumping the most sophisticated computers in the world, what do you think it's doing in your office? Or you're with your cell phone, or whatever the case may be? It definitely can rattle things around. Flight delays, package delays, shipment changes, just messing with us for the next 3 weeks. It goes until the 28th, and it's going to move from its own sign of Virgo, where it is at 4 degrees 6 minutes, and between now and the 28th, we'll trace back into Leo, 9 degrees basically. So when it moves forward again, it will move forward from 21 degrees Leo. Now this is important. It will stay in Virgo, its own sign, until the afternoon of August 14th. Now, August 14th begins a series of aspects that go over about the next 6 days that are going to be significant. The first of them happens the morning of the 14th, and that's when Mars and Jupiter conjoin, kiss on the lips, in the sky. We talked about that several times before already. And Mercury leaves its own familiar territory of Virgo and goes back into hot, fiery Leo. And then that domino of aspects concludes the following week when Jupiter squares Saturn. I'm working on a timeline graphic. I don't know if I'll have it up yet, but it will be displayed on Fun Astrology at the top, toward the top at least, after I get that finished. So you could just keep checking back on there, but it's going to have... We're going to go out all the way into 2027 and 2028 because it's very important to know exactly where we're headed with these major aspects. But that's future business right now. We just have to be aware that Mercury has gone into Gatorade and stuff is going to start behaving a little bit differently, at least for those of us who had a forward-moving Mercury when we took our first breath of air. Thank you guys so much for listening today. I'm just sending you all kinds of love, big hugs. We're going to get through this. We're going to ride through it together, and we're all collectively headed to higher ground. I'll see you back tomorrow. We've got a light week the rest of the week. Thanks for listening. Love you. Bye-bye.